welcome back to the channel. So we're on a ditch project that we actually started yesterday. We got a late start, so I didn't start the video yesterday. This project is through a swamp, and it is super soft muck and peat moss. So, in order to get the brush off of it, I cut all the brush by hand and laid it all out and made me a road. To sit on. So now what I'm doing is I'm going back through, I'm cleaning all the brush up because I got what I needed done in this section. The next section, there is a hole that Dad fell in with the 220 yesterday and about got it stuck. There's a hole I can't get through because I don't have enough brush to fill it, and I've got enough brush on this side to make a pile anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all this up, and I'm going to go up and around the neighbor's driveway here. He told us we could go up through there and get around to that side and pack some brush in from the other way where George is mowing and has been cutting trees. I got more material to work with. And I'll make me a mat road down into there, and I'll get the rest of the brush cleaned out that way. Why this ditch project was not bid to have it dug as we debrushed it is beyond me, because when it goes up for bid to dig it, somebody's definitely going to have to use mats to dig it. If it was me, I would have sat on all this brush and I would have dug it in sections, cleaned the brush up, and it would have been done. But it's not up to me to bid these projects. It's a county job. We just bid on taking the brush out. I need to get some mats bought, because I will bid on digging it. In fact, might get more out of just digging it alone than digging it and debrushing it at the same time. Especially I know how treacherous it is out here. And we don't have to burn the piles. We're just going to leave them stacked. That's what the bid called for. Just leave them piled. I'd rather burn them, but for some reason they don't want them burnt. Where I'm sitting right now, if it wasn't for this brush, I wouldn't be sitting here. This is like the same stuff that I got the 220 stuck in over at my buddy Mike's. This is bottomless. We're right by Coons Lake, Indiana, and Coons Lake has a lot of muck around it. Nice thing is I go back though, I get a thicker and thicker mat to sit on. This ditch runs right into the lake, actually. Progressive link thumb really makes projects like this nice, because you can grab in any bucket position, however you need to do it. back on if anybody noticed. Ooh. Well, a little too far. There we go. What would be really nice for this project is a set of rotating grapples with a saw. Just kind of sucks. You got to double handle the brush. In a normal situation, you take it out, you grab it with the Bobcat or the 621 case wheel loader, carry it to the pile, and you're done. There is no way the Bobcat or the payloader would go out here, that's for sure. It is way too soft. I mean, I can't even walk out here. Back up a little bit. Oops. Yeah. Problem is sitting in your own brush. It's like sitting in your own messed underwear. It's probably going to be a two-part video. In fact, I don't know if I'm going to be even on this project when it gets completed, because it's going to put us really close to our baby being born. So, might not get the video all this one. We'll see what happens. But this will be at least part one. Funny part is this ditch goes from super low, and then the last 1,000 feet of it goes to like 30 foot deep with high sand ditch banks. You don't have to be cleaned up perfectly, because not like you're going to be able to plant grass down here or anything. Alright, I'm going to finish getting this cleaned up, and we'll do a little video later on. Well, got that all cleaned up, came up the driveway and around, and stayed up on the high ground. All I got to do now is get this oak tree top out of here. I'm going to use it to set on to get, there's a mulberry, a all rotted one, I'm going to get it. Get this wadded up somehow the way I want it. This is where the 220 got almost stuck yesterday, right here. Try to mat those back in a little bit. Make our way back. You can see how the ground raises up over there, down by that tree. Kind of deceiving out here. At first we thought we were going to be okay, and then once you punch through, you're done. You got to kind of test the waters as you go, and I guess getting almost stuck was a good way to test it. Time and I'll be out of it. A little bit of suction on that log. If I walk straight in with the excavator and don't move around, I can stay up on top. That's when I start moving around, moving brush, is when I start to fall in. Be far enough back now that I can reach it. I'm gonna go out there and get those few scraggly ones. Tip myself up a little, get on this pile. There we go. Leave that. Should probably just left them logs in there for whoever digs it next. Help their mats stay up. sand. I'll set these off to the side for now in case I need them. This and start a pile somewhere, beat some of the mud out of it. We'll start a pile. Well, we got to a good stopping point on a ditch project today, so we headed home. And on the way home, George is like, I'm going to need fuel for the 200 and the mower. And I said, you're right, because he's been running about 2 days on one tank of fuel, and it usually only goes about 3 or 2.5 days. So he's going to need fuel tomorrow. So I thought, you know what, we got to get fuel back there. And the only way to get it to the road is through where I took all the logs out already and piled them. So we needed a solution to get fuel back there without bringing it out to the road. So I thought, you know what, I got an idea. So we got home, I grabbed my old L tank that used to be in my F-250 before I put the flatbed on it. And I grabbed some of this tubing that I brought home. It's kind of like pallet racking I got from the scrap project that we cleared the woods with all the scrap in it. Brought some of that in the shop. And I fashioned this skid out of that under there. And I put some fork pockets in it so you can slide the forks in and out. And it's got something that'll sit on when you set it on the trailer. And then I also took some cattle panel that I had, and I made this basket on top. So not only can we take fuel, but we can take our chainsaws, our oil, and our gas for the saws, my def for the 220. We can take grease gun, anything we need, out through the woods on the higher ground. So we can stay out of the soft stuff along the ditch. Because with the narrow TRL 630D Balmalite, I can squeeze through trees that I could never go between with a pickup to get out there. I can even go places I wouldn't go with a side-by-side. So we'll load this up tomorrow, and we'll take it with some fuel, and we'll go put fuel in the 200, and we'll get back to work. And then we'll be able to keep this along with us with all of our saw supplies in there, and whatever else we may need. So we're going to take the Balmalite out on a big project tomorrow. So we'll see how it performs out there in the woods. We're going to try something that I don't think anybody else has used one for. We're going to use it as a fuel caddy. So, all right, I'm going to head in for the night because it is about 11 o'clock. I'm tired and got to get rested up for tomorrow. Well, let's give it a shot. Cap for this fuel tank. Kind of losing a little bit. Ditch is actually high. It's when we get farther down where it becomes a problem. Still better than driving a pickup out here though. About 90 gallons of fuel. like I planned it. Alright, we can put some fuel in the 200, put the rest of it in the 220, and then we'll get back at it today. Got all the saws with us. I brought the jump pack to run the fuel tank with, so I didn't have to mess around with getting to the battery on the ball light, even though it wouldn't be too hard to do. It's just easier to bring the jump pack. Got everything fueled up. We're going again here. So this section of the ditch I didn't end up videoing because there really wasn't much excitement here. Just had to take a few trees out and cut a few off and things like that, so there wasn't really much here to video. But we're about halfway through the project. This is the halfway point once we get down here to the curve. Down here at the curve it gets soft again, so I'm carrying these logs down there to get us through there. And then we're going to clear some on this side of the ditch, continuing around the curve. Then we're going to stack logs in the bottom of the ditch, and we're going to cross it. We'll cross over those logs, and then that'll get us to the next section, because there are no crossings in this ditch. So we're going to make our own. Get us across, and then we'll get off of the project on the next road. There are a few spots through here. I got to set the logs down and crutch my way through. But for the most part, this section's pretty firm. There's a old rotten tree stump I just crawled up on. Logs in here from yesterday I left. That's a stump. I need to get next to that. There we go. Alright, I'm going to lay these down here. I'm going to go back and get a few more. George is finishing up a little mowing down there, trimming a few things up. I'll grab them other logs and bring them down, and we'll start clearing along the ditch. Well, let's start clearing again. Here's where we're going. The ditch goes on through there, another probably 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet or so. So we're gonna clear some through here, and then we're gonna jump to that other side. Kind of get stuff out of my way for right now. Shove it off to the side, and then I'll come back through and I'll clean it all up. Just want to get me a path established. Get me a spot to make a pile. Dug this ditch, they left the dirt piled up a little bit through here. this side than it is on the other side for a little ways. And then the other side starts to get high, and that's where I want to cross. Because I don't want to try to cross down the low ground. I'd rather do it somewhere high. A lot of vines. See if we can get these vines out without getting smacked in the head with something. Get the bucket way up if we can see it. There we go. That off to the side for now. So I'll get this scraggly one out. This has white sand under it, so that's a good sign. It's not as soft as those other spots. Alright, I'll get this opened up. I need to go another 50 foot or so, and then I think we can cross down there. Got to where I wanted to cross. We're gonna start building us a bridge here. logs up in here. There's a corner marker here. I got to be careful for property line. Don't want to mess with that. We're going to cross right here. Pluck these few little trees out. Off to the side if they'll stay. Use those here in a little bit. Let's see what I got here for logs. Want some big ones first. Probably this one. Use that one first. get them just right or they won't grab. Do is put some of this brush on top, and then that'll allow us to put a little dirt on top. We'll be able to run the bomb light across it. Gather up some more brush, put it on there, and we'll get across. Well, let's see if George can make it across. I'll let him across so he can keep mowing. So now we're on this side of the ditch the rest of the way down. I'm going to go back across and clean things up a little bit, and then I'll come back on this side, head down there. That's where the ditch gets to be about 30 feet deep, so we're going to have to figure that one out as we go. I said this ditch gets deep. This is how deep it gets. That is a long ways down there to the water. So George and I have been walking along here, cutting what we can. Got quite a few cut off. What we're going to do this afternoon, the rest of today, is we're going to go ahead and try to get us a path punched all the way through to the next road. So that way when we come tomorrow, we can come in off of the next county road over instead of going through what we went through this morning to get back here. Just make things a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead and just clear maybe, well, the width of the excavator all the way along here. And then at some point, we're going to get down on a shelf down there. Looks like they created that shelf when they originally dug this. And we're going to be able to reach what we need to down the bottom of the ditch from that shelf. So we made it through the high spot, and we're back down to where the ditch is sort of smaller. But it is definitely manageable now. Still a good sized ditch though. To the road, we're almost to the end. Dad was running the excavator for a while George and I were cutting trees, and he was getting a little tired, so I said, well, I'll take it back over. I'll turn around here and show you how far we've came. We still got to go back, but we're getting our initial path punched through. Yeah, you can see where I've come from. We got some big trees to cut yet, but we've got the initial path through. Almost. A lot of tangled up down stuff through here. A lot of stuff you'll see. I'll grab over the edge and end up pulling a stump out because I don't know what's attached and what's not attached. There's just too much stuff to be crawling around down in there trying to cut with a saw. So if I do hurt the bank, I just pat it back in the bucket and it'll be alright. But yeah, see here, I can actually touch the water. And if I get over far enough, I can reach what I need to. Track pedal. Well, I got under there. Plenty wide to get a long reach through here to dig this. What I was after. So we've got 75 feet from the edge of the ditch out to work on. That's the county's right of way. So we can pile stuff, we can take trees out, we can do whatever we need to do within this 75 feet. So that's plenty of room to work. we're not clearing all 75 feet because that wouldn't make any sense. We're just clearing enough to get through to do the maintenance work that we need to do. If we cleared all 75 foot on this ditch project, there was 2930 was the footage, so 2,930 feet. And if we cleared 75 foot, that would be like 3.5 acres we would clear as far as woods. But by the time you figure in the slope of this bank, we've probably cleared close to that, because that's not counting. That's if the ground is flat. So if you add in the slope of that bank, there's more acreage. Whole tree. That's why I couldn't pick it up. That time of the day, the sun's getting in my eyes, coming through the trees. To the road. Finally got to what I've been waiting for. The end. We made good time on this project, really. Dad thought it was going to take us a lot longer, but I kind of thought in the back of my head we could wipe it out pretty quick. I know we still got cleanup to go back and do, but the blunt of it's done. Really, the hard part's done, the real soft ground. The deep stuff doesn't bother me. It's the soft spots that are the ones that are the troublesome spots. Like this is low right here, but it's good firm ground. I mean, it's a little soft. If I shake, it's like I'm sitting on a pillow, but not a super soft pillow. Kind of like a therapeutic mattress. It's not a waterbed. Really wanting to have this project done before the baby comes. And we're definitely, I think, going to make it before that happens. So, happy with that. I didn't want to be that far from home. So in case I'm needed at home, I'm not too far away. Majority of our work is back towards home, except for a pipe job we got to go do. That one's going to be quite a ways from home, but we're not going to do that one for a little bit yet. Probably by the time we do that one, baby will be a week or so old. Madison should be okay. And plus, the nice thing is my mom's just down the road. Should be good. Alright. I think this one I can take out. Yeah, it's high enough up on the bank. I'm not going to worry about it. Just take them out. Stump and all. Problem is, you get too many stumps left right along the edge, and you try to run the track of the excavator right along there, and you're bouncing over them, and I don't like doing that. Power lines along this road, so I gotta track in here. They're behind me. I don't want to cause a blackout on Wednesday night in Coons Lake. Go ahead and just take this one out and stump it all too. Leave those roots. Cherry will cut that one off. Try and get as much dirt out of that as I can. Alright. That looks good. I'll have George cut that off, and then I'll go back to cleaning. So I think this is a good stopping point to this video. We'll probably do a part 2 on this one. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a like and a subscribe. I'd appreciate that.